Welcome everyone, this is Roger Salam. Welcoming you to today's webinar. And as you know that my webinars are live fireside chat because I hate talking into a phone in a dark hole and where I cannot see anyone. So I always invite, whenever I do a webinar, I invite a few friends to come over and listen and participate. I get their energy and I really get to flow with the information that I'm sharing with you. And I'm genuinely excited about this particular strategy that I'm about to share with you today. And this, first of all, this particular webinar, I handpicked 59 people. I have never done a webinar ever in my life that I sent to 59 people, and of that 59, about 35 people are on the webinar, registered, and the others just either didn't get the email or they're in the holiday mode, which is fine. That's why I'm recording it, so if you're listening to it later on. And I am, just like there is no such thing as treating everyone equal. I remember my coach at UCLA, Coach John Wooden, the world-famous basketball coach, he used to say that the surest way to discriminate is to treat everyone equal. Because the 5 fingers are not equal. Do you know how difficult it would be to grab someone if all 5 fingers were equal? It is all by design. And so how I'm discriminating today is people who have raised their hands and say that they wanted to, they voted with their dollars, that they value what I share, so I'm committed to them, and that's how I'm discriminating the rest. It's anytime I find something that is of value, my loyalty is to my students. And if you're listening on this call now or a recording of it, I urge you not to share this one. And actually, by the time you share it, it probably will be too late anyway. So this is for you. And I'm sharing with you first, giving you sort of the first right of refusal. And I did let the cat out of the bag at my live event, Success Acceleration Live, last weekend in Tampa. So I am repeating that portion of the seminar that I believe it's time sensitive, because people who couldn't make it to this particular live event, they have the free opportunity to come again for the March live event. However, there is one opportunity to invest that people at the seminar took advantage of it, and so those balance of the 59 that they couldn't take advantage of it, I wanted to give them this opportunity before the year is over. So with that being the preface, let me share with you what it is. And if you don't take advantage of it, I'm going to do the same webinar again later on this week for my rest of my crowd, by my list that has over many tens of thousands on my investor list. So it's going to go out to them. And this is in addition to, if you are on this call, that means I have shared with you, number one, the exclusive opportunity every month to bid on the Bank REO list that we get. And that's a bidding opportunity. Should you win or not win, that depends on other people. And then I also shared with you my owner finance and some cash in there also list. And by the way, it gives me a great deal of pleasure that about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, almost, yeah, it's 9 people say they see you, hear you, say yes. Yeah. So, Dean, are you online? Can you see my screen on GoToWebinar? So, and the good thing that my partner here that you see, the Roger Salam and Rinat, and he just reminded me that at home, if you can see my screen, just say yes on the chat, and you know where you ask questions and please chat. So those of you can hear me all right, and you can actually see the screen, because this is important. If you cannot see the screen, you're going to miss out. All right. And I'm going to have Dean test it right here. All right. So some of you that are on the call have heard about it, but we did it, the presentation, so fast. And so this is for everyone. We have more time to think about it, more time to do more due diligence, and my excitement has grown, not diminished, after I did the due diligence. And so this is really another opportunity that I bring to you and as part of your sort of exclusive membership and to my tribe and my student group. And so with that being said, let me give you a disclaimer first. And the information set forth in this presentation is confidential and proprietary and has been provided for information and discussion purpose only, and reproduction or distribution of this presentation in whole or in part, or the disclosure of its contents without the written permission of the content the company us is prohibited, and all recipients agree that they will keep confidential all information contained here and that is not already in the public domain, and will use this presentation for the sole purpose of evaluating a potential transaction with the company. By accepting this presentation, each prospective investor agrees to the foregoing. This presentation does not constitute an offer to sell or a solicitation of an offer to buy any securities, and this information presented and other oral or written information provided by the company or its representatives in connection with this presentation was or will be prepared by the company and furnished solely for the use of in evaluating potential transaction with the company. This presentation includes certain statements and estimates with respect to the anticipated future performance of the company. These statements and estimates are based upon assumptions that may not prove to be correct. Such assumptions are inherently subject to significant uncertainties and contingencies, many of which are beyond the company's control. No representation or warranty is made, and no assurance can be given that the company can or will attain such results. This presentation does not purport to be all-inclusive or to contain all the information that a potential investor may desire to investigate in the company. Potential investors must conduct their and rely on their own examination of the company and the terms of any potential transaction. Now, upon including the merits and risks involved in making a decision with respect to the transaction. So this keeps my lawyers happy that I've done that. So what you're about to discover in a very simple way, after a week-long going back and forth, what am I going to call this strategy? What is this strategy all about? And Renat and I spent probably countless hours on this one presentation, one thing coming up, and then I was pacing back and forth, really, because you've heard me before, the essence of genius is simplicity. What is the essence of this program? The essence of this program is this. You're about to discover a pretty home strategy with ugly house prices. Think about it, that I am giving you opportunities, I'm teaching you, and I am going to continue to teach you. We are never, ever going to be a one-trick pony. Because if you become a one-trick pony, and the moment it goes out, you're out of business. So I'm teaching you all the different things. However, there are times that some low-hanging fruits that come to us. We need to take advantage of this. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
So this is one of those things. And I'll also share with you how big the market is so that I don't think it's about to go away either. But very, very, very few people know about this strategy, including me. I didn't know about this strategy, and I found out, and one of the traits of successful people is they make decisions quickly. They make decisions quickly, and you never, ever will have 100% of the information to make decisions. Enough for you to say that, yes, it's time to proceed. And it's ready, fire, aim. And so we fired it already at our live event last weekend, and since then I've been aiming and aiming and aiming, and I'm going to share with you some of those things also. So this really is, nutshell, pretty home strategy with ugly house prices, because I started in the ugly home business. That's how I made my money. That's how I'm making my money right now. And today we sold ugly houses, made thousands of dollars today. While I'm sitting here, we made money. And So never ever, those are your sort of, what I call it, your 4-footer. So they're out there. I've shared with you that strategy is going to be there. But given that, if you're spending $20,000, $30,000, $50,000, let's say under $50,000 on an ugly home, is that a fair statement?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So if you could buy for the same $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, instead of an ugly house, a pretty house, would we rather buy a pretty house?
Absolutely.
All day long, we'll buy a pretty house. I didn't know. Somebody, one of my mentors used to say that the reason someone will make 50,000 is because they don't know how to make 100,000. Is it just a simple statement? The reason you make 100,000 is because you don't know how to make $250,000. The reason you make $250,000 because you don't know how to make $500,000. And the day it becomes apparent to you that you can make, with your skill set and your knowledge, $1 million, you're not going to make $500,000. You're going to go for $1 million. So now that we have this pretty house strategy, and we will create a parallel strategy with our ugly home strategy. And I remember one of my, now he's a mentor and a friend now and a member of the Winner Circle, Ron LeGrand, one of the guys that I respect in the industry. And he has one of these ugly home course. Then he also has a pretty home course. And the simple, how he sold me the pretty house, I first bought the ugly house course. Then I went to him and said, how he sold the pretty house courses to me is very simple. He made one logic. He goes, when you're going to look for ugly houses, you're going to go past pretty houses. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
So the time has already been invested because you're going past the pretty houses, but you're going to go past the pretty house because you don't know how to make money with the pretty house. So if you're going to go past that, and if you could pick up money with pretty house, then pick up the pretty house also. So with that, so here, is that ugly enough? Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, I don't know. So my Dean, as long as Dean can see it at home, and wow. So on my screen, over on the screen, people can't see it. But if you are logged in at home, you can see it. This is over here, pretty house versus ugly house. So don't know, technology is not perfect. So if you're at home, they're seeing it. So, and pretty house versus ugly house. So my promise to you is this, that you're going to, by the end, you're going to know the secret of buying these pretty houses and controlling them for a price of an ugly house and creating cash flow and have an upside potential that is huge, more than anything I have ever seen in this industry since I started. Now that's a pretty big statement. So the upside potential. So this is a little known secret, and that particular secret is how can you buy a pretty house for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000? The way you can buy a pretty house for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 is a thing called HOA lien. And HOA lien strategy is because they now have a superior super priority over other liens. As simple as that. And I'm going to explain to you that if you understand this, then you know you can do this. A good metaphor for that is if you think that how can I buy a $200,000, $300,000, $500,000 house for the HOA lien prices? Because HOA lien is, $10,000, $20,000, maybe $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 with, if there are HOA liens that are, homeowners liens, monthly HOA fees that are $400 or $500 a month, if not more. And so if you get a $500 lien per month and you haven't paid for 4 or 5 years, it can go up to thousands of dollars very, very quickly. And now, a good metaphor for that it is possible is, how many of you have heard of tax lien strategy? That buying a house for the taxes that are owed. So you can buy a house, you can buy what's a tax lien certificate, and that's a guaranteed return, but somebody can just pay off the certificate, but you get the guaranteed return that the state that you're in. However, if you buy a tax deed sale, then you can, for the tax amount, you can actually get the deed. So you know that's every day that's happening, so that's not something I made up. So you could buy a house just for the taxes that are owed. So if a house is worth $300,000 or a house is owed $3 million, it has no bearing what the value of the property is, whatever the taxes that are owed on that property. Of course, a $3 million house will have more taxes than a $300,000 house, than a $30,000 house. But just for the taxes, you could buy the house. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
It's common knowledge. So now, why is that possible? It's because the tax is a superior lien over anything else. So if the tax forecloses, then all the known as junior liens get wiped out. So you just get the house free and clear. So what we're doing right now is the HOA lien now has priority over first mortgage or first trust deed. And right now, the 3 states that we're working on and 16 other states plus DC have the same law. We're working on 3 states right now that we're getting HOA liens is Nevada, number 1, Florida, number 2, and North Carolina, number 3. So with that simple strategy, and Bob Massey is a legal analyst, and he was interviewed in Fox. Wow, this is the first time it's happened that the pictures are not showing up on my screen. and yeah, but everybody at home can see it very clearly. So to summarize the interview, because I don't want to play the interview, I want to this is a summary of what he said. Nevada Supreme Court made a huge ruling 2 weeks ago that if you buy a home at an HOA sale, you're buying it for the past HOA dues that are owed, and you end up owning the home, and the mortgage on the property is extinguished. Simple as that. HOA liens have priority over mortgage liens. And so if you bought the HOA lien on $1 million property, you became a millionaire overnight. It's as simple as that. And so why HOA JV cash flow? And I'm going to share with you a joint venture opportunity today. And by the way, this is so early that next year we're in the process, right? During the Christmas break, Renat and I we're going to create an actual course on this topic. And the course is going to come out because this is hot. This is the latest, greatest thing that's coming down the pipe. Remember the short sale came, all these different strategies of acquiring properties came, and people just made money left hand over fist. So the joint venture cash flow program that we're launching for us, we're going to create the 3 stages of everything that we do. Is we'll have number 1, it's do it yourself, the DIY. So we're going to create everything that we're learning. We're going to put it on as a course and give it to you so that if you want to do it yourself, you're welcome to do it yourself. There is no secret. Information wants to be free. The only secret is a 4-letter word that's called WORK. And nobody wants to do that. And so the second stage of that, it's do it yourself. Second is do it with us. And third is done for you. Completely done for you. That we will do everything for you. You don't have to do anything. And the done for you is the ultimate stage in terms of that we all want to do, is because at the end, what we're looking for is the time freedom. We want our money to work harder for us. And we want to outsource the process. We really don't care. At the end, what we are all after is passive residual income that will support our lifestyle so that we can go out and do whatever is it that we want to do that floats our boat. Whether that's traveling around the world, whether it's helping the children, whether it's doing world peace, or you simply want to be a beach bum. It's totally your call, but you cannot do that without passive residual income. So you don't care whether passive residual is coming from stocks, bonds, real estate, this business, or anything. those are just merely a vehicle. And if you could do that without your time being invested, then that's the ultimate freedom. And that's what we're after. And so I have found this another way to create wealth faster, because if you could buy a pretty house, a $250,000 house for under $50,000, how fast could your wealth grow versus buying a $30,000, $50,000 home, a junker home, and doing that? So having said that, don't ever forget that I am doing buying, selling junker house now, today, and I will keep doing it tomorrow because we have a system in place that does it. And all the system is in place for wholesaling those things. So financial stability equals freedom, because I say that there's no freedom without financial freedom. And those who say that money can't buy happiness simply don't know where to shop. You have to know with that. So the ultimate real estate partnership I've created through this HOA JV cash flow formula. This joint venture cash flow formula, it's unbelievable amount, and this is what is creating this opportunity. That tax liens are superior liens above the HOA liens, so that whenever we buy from HOA liens, that's why you see in the pyramid the tax, the two things, death and taxes, that never go away, that you got to go confront those two. So tax lien is above it. So we're not talking about tax liens, we're talking about the HOA super priority lien. And this is what the Supreme Court in Nevada has ruled in the favor of the Homeowners Association. If you think about it, here's the history of it. And Renata and I have, since in the last week, have done incredible amount of research and reading white papers, reading the actual statutes. And so that I can, when I'm speaking to you, I'm not just doing hearsay. I didn't take someone else's word for it. Yes, the first time I did. But then in the now, we went and read the actual statutes. And I'm going to quote you the statute so that you know that your level of confidence in this strategy, as I said, after I did the research, it has gone higher, not lower. You know how sometimes something sounds, the old belief was if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. The new empowering thing is if it sounds too good to be true, it's worth checking out. It's worth checking out. Because everything you think about today, at one time, every technology we're using right now, it would have been too good to be true, even 10, 20 years ago. That somebody said that, with your iPhone, you can do all the things that we do over here. Even there was a time that if you said that there will be a phone with no cords, that itself would have been an unbelievable, too good to be true. So with technology, advances are possible. Because of internet, things are possible. Because of fast supercomputers, things are possible that couldn't, humanly possible. We couldn't have done it. We couldn't have done those calculations. Only thing, what made it too good to be true is because of the super fast computers and things that we're doing. So don't just throw it out. It's worth checking it out. And that's what we have done. So HOA priority, and then, so that means the first deed has gone higher than the HOA deed, and then the HOA lien balance. And again, those of you on the call that want to do it yourself, then I'll give you all of these references, everything that we found from the research, the white papers, the actual legal statutes from each. I'll be happy to, and that'll be part of the course, so you can read it, learn it, and spend hours and hours of your time. And I'm really scared about my leisure time. Something is wrong with me, because during my leisure time, I'm finding myself reading tax codes. Something is seriously wrong. But I'm doing this because I do not want to bring it to my students without me personally at least verifying these things. And so my leisure time has become your research time. And so second trust deed, mechanics lien, and all of the things that are in the property. So in this case, if the first trust deed foreclosed, all the others will go away. Anything, whoever forecloses, things below are called junior liens. They get wiped out. So that's what's a super priority lien. So, and this is what the Supreme Court said. In Nevada, an HOA lien is perfected upon recordation of the association's declaration. In all new developments, the declaration is recorded prior to construction of the individual units. Therefore, the HOA lien is always recorded and perfected prior in time to any involvement by a bank. Let me explain to you in English. Remember, most people don't even know what's considered a first mortgage and what's considered a second mortgage or third mortgage. It's not that the first, if I lend you $100,000 on your home and I didn't record that lien, and tomorrow you go out and get another $10,000 and they recorded the lien before I did, which one is the first mortgage?
The $10,000.
The $10,000 is the first mortgage.
Yes.
It's a date of the recording, right?
Yes.
So now, why is the HOA lien superior lien? Is because all HOAs are in a community of primarily new homes. Would you agree? So the day the community was planned, they already knew that there was going to be an HOA. And by the way, on the street that I live, it's a peninsula, and my neighbors, there's a few. My next door neighbor is an attorney. My catty corner is a judge, and they got together. They wanted to put a gate, make it a gated community at the very top of the street, and I didn't want it. I didn't want to. So no majority of people on this street, we didn't want the HOA, because if they put a gate, then that means we have to pay an HOA for the gate fee and all these other things. So because it wasn't planned, so we did not agree. But in an HOA community, the day that it's a plan, it's a day they record that there's going to be an HOA community, and that's when the declaration is made. So that's when the recording of HOA is. So HOA, long before the house is constructed, that's why prior to construction, the HOA was there. So that's why the HOA lien is superior to the first trust deed. Make sense?
Yes.
So in summary, the court determined that an HOA receives a true super priority lien on a homeowner's property under NRS 116.3116, making an HOA lien with limited exceptions prior to all other liens and encumbrances on the property, including the first deeds of trust recorded before the dues became delinquent. And number two, an HOA lien can be foreclosed on non-judicially. So that's a statute. If you want to read the rest of it, you can Google it or email it. I can send it to you. It's long, boring legal stuff, but that's a summary. That's what you need to know. And now the conclusion was this, that an HOA has true super priority lien under NRS 116.3116, and non-judicial foreclosure permitted under the Chapter 116 terminates first deeds of trust. So it wipes out. Further, the proper notices were sent to receive. In this case, according to SFR's complaint, SFR that filed the original lawsuit against this that the Supreme Court ruled on in Nevada. So now 18 other states are following suits of this, because it's based on sound logic. And before I can go into more details on this thing, but you can take my word for it, and those of you who don't want to, absolutely okay, you can just go read the rest of it and it'll be clear. And that HOA liens can foreclose, just like a trust deed can foreclose and get it done. So how big is this? 1 in 5 households are associated with HOA. I should have even, let me ask you this. How many HOA associations are there in this country? What would you guess? How many thousand? 1,000, 5,000, 10,000? Huh?
150,000.
Okay, so she said 150,000. What would your guess?
Tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands. I want a number. She said 50. Anybody higher than 50,000? 50,000 going 1, 50,000 going 2, 50,000. Anybody for 100,000?
I was thinking 500,000.
500,000. Here's the answer. There are estimated 350,000 HOAs in the U.S. that cover over 25 million households. represents every type of owned real estate, residential real estate, and involves 80% of new home construction. So that's how big, and we are just touching the very tip of the iceberg on Nevada and Florida. And this is where we have started. So timing sometimes is everything. That you want to get on the curve, it's when it's going up, not at the top when it's going down. So if you have caught it today, if you're listening to this, then you have perhaps once in your lifetime have caught the trend going upward. And those of you who don't know my partner, Rinat, he's a PhD in economics, and that's his background. And I've known him for now many years, and every time he has come to me with any niche-specific opportunities that he has done the research, not only about that niche, but also the longevity and the timing and the bell curve of that particular niche. And that's what we've been doing since we left the seminar. And he's been doing research. We've been emailing back and forth. We've been meeting with the sources. And why you'd want to joint venture with us, I'm going to answer this question so that it's not just a whimsical thing I found, and where I am weak is I then partner up. I am the joint venture king. If anything that I've done is I probably have done more joint ventures and facilitated more joint ventures through my Winner Circle members than most people in their lifetime. And so I can with certainty say that. And so here is the process. Here's the process so that you understand. Remember, and those of you at the seminar, the whole time I was harping on systems and processes. So what we want to do, how we do, is we purchase HOA receivable. And then we attempt collection of that receivable because we buy for the entire face value. And then if we collect that money, what we do is for students, then we can substitute it with another receivable. But if it's hopefully we will not collect, then we go into the foreclosure stage. We foreclose, and then we get the deed with clouded title. The day we get the deed with a clouded title, we have possession of the property, and all of our exit strategy begins at that point. And we also can start cash flow at that point because now we are the owners of that property. We have foreclosed because we own the HOA receivable. On behalf of that, we foreclosed and we now own the property and we start renting the property. So that is a very broad overview of this strategy. And so now, furthermore, the second part of this is since we have a clear title, look at the previous one, number 5, it stopped. And so now we're picking up from number 5 is further, it's that we have the deed, but it was clouded with all the other claim people that may have claimed. Just like those of you who've ever bought a property at auction, any kind of auction, you get a certificate of title. You don't get a warranty deed. If you want to convert it into a marketable title, you do what's known as a suit to quiet title. And so that's what we do is, and if you see the deed with clouded title, right after that there's 2 arrows and we are proceeding. Number 1 is rent. Number 2 is clear title. So we're simultaneously we're proceeding with those 2 things. We're renting the property so the money starts coming in. Number 2 is you've got clear title process. Now that takes months. On average, this is about a 12-month cycle, if not 18 to 24 months on this cycle. So the moment we get clear title, we can sell the property for the full market value or maybe at 90% for a quick sale. And these are, as I say, these are pretty house properties. They are in good neighborhood, gated communities, and as I said, any one of us in this room and outside of this room, given the opportunity to buy a junker house versus for the same price, buy a pretty house, we will all, every day and twice on Sunday, get on the pretty house. So remember, today is a Sunday, so we need to buy 2. So what is this pretty house looks like? As a matter of fact, these are real houses, and in Orlando. And right now, the reason I'm calling you or doing this webinar right in between Christmas and started this thing almost when everybody is kind of winding down their year, hey, everything is over, I'm actually for the first time speeding up. And here's your opportunity right now. I have 29 of these receivables in Orlando to start with. We have 29 of these houses in Orlando, and you can see the rent estimate. This one particular house is about $1,500. This one is $1,584. This one is $1,768. These are all, as I said, pretty houses, and from our portfolio of houses. So what this one is, on average, these are literally $1,700, $1,800 is the rent on these houses. So what is needed? So benefits that you'll get is you'll discover the secrets of the HOA JV cash flow program, and you can, this is phenomenal opportunity to buy these properties and create cash flow that goes into your IRA for you to get it tax-free on the other end, provided that it's a Roth, not a traditional IRA, or you have some other, Renat introduced to me one other strategy. It's called Solo 401k. You need to ask him about it. It is absolutely mind-blowing. I cannot wait to start, besides my Roth IRA, which I'm going to do there, but the Solo 401k is unbelievable. All the limitations that we have on the Roth, it's gone with Solo 401k. So you can also invest with Solo 401k, and every one of us is an entrepreneur. We're a business owner. We, on this call, we can do a Solo 401k, and also even if you're working full-time, you have a part-time real estate business that allows you to put Solo 401k. So you can do that. You can gain access to our exclusive property network, security and through real estate, and turnkey solutions for investors. So I'm always looking for how can I provide turnkey solutions for investors, which are my students. And with this, what I've done is and you can purchase 3 to 5 HOA receivables, and one of the best opportunities that is out there that I've ever seen since I started in this program. So how did I create this joint venture? It's remarkable, and these opportunities came. The largest HOA receivable company in this country, or at least one of the largest, it's called Red Rock. And the CEO of Red Rock, when this for 10 years he's been the CEO, and Red Rock is a part of a bigger financial institution, and that they used to buy all the HOA receivables at the collection company. So he knows all of the HOA, because that's his business, and he already has the connections to all of these HOA receivables. And that's what his company used to buy. The moment this ruling came down, he resigned from the CEO and started a company, because the HOA receivable company didn't want to go and foreclose on houses and stuff. They don't want to own houses. That's not their business. They're a collection agency. So he saw this incredible opportunity, so he resigned and started buying these receivables himself, and he created a company with another friend of his where they're buying these receivables and doing all of this foreclosure, all the dirty work that needs to be done. And what Renat and I have done is partnered up with them. And I told you, just like with those of you who heard me with the bank REO list, that I've been trying to find bank REO for years and years. I could never get to the source. Finally, when I got to the source, I added value, and they gave me the right to market it. And same thing here is, in writing, I went to them and I said, listen, why don't you go out and buy these liens? Because the problem is, if you want to go and do it yourself, you have to buy liens. It's rare that you'll be able to buy one at a time. Just like this comes in pools. So unless you have not tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars, you're not going to be able to get into this business of buying the liens. But he is willing to buy it on this from his investors. They buy it in big pools but they're selling it to us one at a time. It's the same advantage that we have with the bank REO, that we buy it in bulk so that we can sell it to one-on-one. So this one, you can do it. They're selling it, and we have taken the exclusive right to market this program to real estate investors and in this niche. So I said, I don't care if you want to go anywhere else. So we are the marketing arm for this program. So we are joint venture. And so what we're going to do is create a joint venture where you and I are partners in this program. That's a joint venture program. And what we launched in this program in Tampa last weekend is that for $30,000, we can get one of these HOA liens and do the process and first control it through the receivable, and then do collection process. Then we go to the foreclosure process and then gain possession. Now, in Florida, these 29 homes that we have, on average, takes about 90 to 120 days to complete the foreclosure process. So if we buy in December now, these 29 has already started the collection process. And the collection process already started, so next stage is foreclosure. So we already have acquired these 29 for our students, and so you have the first right of refusal. That's why I limited this call to 59 people. So if first you 59 people on this call, or I'm going to send it to the recording to all 59 people, that if you say no, and then this Thursday I'm doing the next webinar for my general list, and so that they get a chance to get this opportunity. What's left over by you guys, they can have it. They can only have what's left over from that you guys don't. And of course, coming into the next year, we're going to have much more of this list coming in. So it's not that you're going to miss out. You're never going to have it, but you can have right now and take that head start, because it takes 90 days, 120 days, no matter when you start. If you start next month, it's 90 days from now. This month, it's 90 days from now. So we're going to give you this opportunity that if you want any one of these 29 houses, by the way, 9 of these 29 is already taken by the students who were at the seminar. That means they have actually put a 100% refundable deposit to one of these 9, and Rinat has one group of investors that have reserved. They want to do 15. They just told him now they went down to 13 because 2 of them became available because they came before I made it available to the student. So there aren't very many left from this first batch, and somebody's buying a block, and I'm giving you guys the chance to do it. Now, how this will work is very simple. It's that you come up with 50% of that 30K now, and 50% when we take the foreclosure is done right before the foreclosure notice acquisition is. That's when your other 50% is due. So roughly, let's say 90 days. So 15,000 due now, and 15,000 due when we foreclose. And once we foreclose, immediately rent the properties. And now, when we rent the properties, 100% of the net rental. What is net rental? Meaning that same thing. We want to make sure that now we pay the HOA. We don't want to be the victim. So we're going to pay the HOA. We're going to pay the taxes, insurance, the management fees, whatever is needed to maintain the property. On average, about say $500–600 is that fee. So from a $1,700 average rent, $1,500 rent, we are getting about a net $1,000 to $1,200 net rent, depending on what size of the house, what you get. That money, 100% goes to my JV partner so that they recoup their initial investment. So if it takes 12 months from that point to secure the clear title, and we sell that house, then here's the return. You not only get So if you put $30,000 investment and you got $1,000 net rent for this is, again, this is for disclaimer, this is an example I'm giving you so that you understand. So you get 12 months rent, you get $12,000 and you invested $30,000. What is your return on investment? It's more than 33%. Because 10,000 would be 33% of that 30. So tell me, what investment do you know that gives you 33% return backed by this, your security of the house? Second is when we, not only will all the rent come to you, 100%, second is on the back end when we sell the house. And these are, on average, these are about $250,000 house. If between $200,000 to $300,000, and we actually did all of these numbers, 225 to 300 in that range, 350, and so even if we just sell it for $200,000, that's a round number, you'll get 30% equity on the back end. 30% equity on the back end. So that means for your 30% of $200,000, that's $60,000. So your investment of $30,000 nets you $60,000 on the back end, and if it takes 12 months, so another $12,000. So 60 plus 12, $82,000 on a $30,000 investment. $72,000 investment return on your cash investment. So with that being said, Rinat and I made a special that for those of you, for this first group of people, for these 29 houses that they come on board, we up the back-end residual to 40% instead of 30%. Those of you invest before the end of the year. And so I want to get started. I want to create the success story. And by the way, it's another thing that we have also done is we know people who's gone through this whole process, have done 100 houses and have taken title. So this is not a pie in the sky. I'm doing some other, I cannot tell you how many other different things that people come to me with, hey, I found a way how to get this, your house free and clear, pay off this. No. I asked them that, show me proof. Have you done it with your house? And that's where it stops. Oh, I know somebody who knows somebody who's done it. No. Bring me the proof. And here we have the proof, and I want to prove it myself. And then I'm going to take it nationwide next year. So with you guys, we want to get started right now. And very simple. Here's the thing. If you have an interest, sign up for a free 30-minute consultation to discuss your real estate investment desires. And you can do it by emailing to Rinat directly. That's his email, 777reo@gmail.com, 777reo@gmail.com, or you can text him at 941-548-7755, 941-548-7755. So you set up a 30-minute call now. Send him an email before the webinar is over when with your availability, that you're available now, whenever these are the times that you're available, today, tomorrow, next 24, 48 hours max, because this is the limited inventory that I'm trying to get people to commit to. And Thursday, I'm going to send out doing the same webinar to the general public. Anything that we left over, we go to them. So the ultimate real estate partnership benefits and features the effective new strategy, rapid results, financial freedom, IRA growth, and time freedom. And I hope that with this program, and you will schedule a one-on-one cash flow planning session with Remember. And remember this, that always, if it is to be, it's up to you. I'm providing you with the opportunity. Whether you want to take advantage of it or not, it totally depends on your level of taking action. It's another opportunity for you to take advantage of. As I said, I have not seen anything this exciting come down in a long, long time. And should this work the way we're projecting, then this is by far the best strategy that I've seen to acquire a pretty house for $30,000. And just so you know, how does the $30,000 work? It's that the first $15,000 goes towards receivables, all the admin fee, the collections, the foreclosure, because all the attorney fees up to then, and the foreclosure fee we'll collect when we get the attorney letter that we got successful. We send you an invoice for the balance, and every one of these houses will require paint and carpet, and they're just regardless. There's three types of situations in these houses. Number one, the property is vacant. If the property is vacant, the day we get the foreclosure, we're in there. And we have, you live in Alaska, or you live in Ohio, you live in Kentucky, you live in North Carolina, you live in California, you live Texas, Illinois, it doesn't matter where you live. It's a turnkey opportunity for you because we're taking care of everything. There will come a time when you want your money to work harder for you than you. And you can continue with the your time strategy by doing the ugly house acquisition that's going on. And those of you who have $30,000, highly recommend we're having people do at least 2 to 3 at a time, because what happens, where is the risk, inherent risk in there? First of all, I said there's 3 opportunities. Number one is the house is vacant. The house is vacant, we go, we fix it, and we start renting it right away. And there's a paint and carpet situation in most cases, because these are pretty house neighborhood. This is not an ugly house neighborhood that people go and strip it down to the copper wire, and no, this is not the case. These are, I will show you, as I said, I'm going to show you that just for my satisfaction, and those of you know that I don't go see my houses because I'm buying hundreds of houses in many states, and I did it and for that particular purpose. Renat, myself, and Ken, we drove to Orlando just to do random checks on these houses. Do the house really exist? Is it in gated communities? Is it in conditions that they're representing to us? And so we did that for you. So that's a vacant. Second situation is the house is, the owner is there. If the owner is there, now we are the owner. So they have 2 options. So we can convert them into a paying tenant, or we have to treat them as and evict them, and we evict them and find a new tenant for us. And then the third is already has a tenant in it, and the owner was collecting rent from them, without paying the mortgage. And so now we go to them with our deed, say, hey, we are the new owners, please redirect the rent to us. And if they don't, we do the same thing. So I think the third one is the most easier way to start. Almost the day we foreclose is the day we start collecting rent. We just redirect the rent. So in this scenario, where is the risk in terms of our investment? The risk is that because right now it's a joint venture, you're going to be investing. You're investing. It's no different than all of you that I teach joint venture, that you find a private lender. If you don't have the money, get the money partner, and you become the expert and do all the work. So, and then share the profit. So what we're doing is the same way, is once we're acquiring the property, but in the process of acquiring the property is we don't buy property, we buy the receivable. And the first $15,000 that is due now at the time of the joint venture signing of the agreement, it is this $15,000 we're buying the receivable. In the process of once we give them notice, they could pay us off for the full face value plus our legal costs and stuff. If they pay us, that's what we are, just like the tax lien certificate. If they paid us, we just made our money. Because we paid but at a discount, we made money. But our goal was not to get paid up. Our goal was to acquire the property. So if we're buying so many receivables, that's what I'm saying. That's why I've hooked up with where the jackpot is with the CEO of Red Rock. somebody who knows this industry, somebody who already has the deep connections, somebody who's buying it without me having to spend all the money. And he's willing to sell it to us one at a time for my students and for me and for Rinat. We're also investing our money into the same thing that I'm buying from my IRA with this program. And so the risk is, what if you get paid off? If you get paid off, then what we will do in our joint venture agreement, then immediately we will replace you with another similar value property with another receivable and start the process. So that we just keep on going. If they pay us off, we take another one and keep going. End of story. So in a nutshell, that is the program and the risk, we have taken that risk out for you in writing in our JV agreement. So how you're going to get started is this. We're going to have a joint venture agreement. When you call Rinat and you let him know that you're going to get started with, so for every $15,000, you get to secure one property. And so please be prepared to have the balance in 90 days. And so right now, and we are really brainstorming ways to make this program better, bigger, stronger, and more value added for the students. So there may be another version in the future, but right now, we've given you the additional 10% in equity in the back end as well. So you get 40%. The day we acquire the property, how we acquire the property is we buy the property into a land trust, and the land trust has two beneficiaries, you with 40% and us with the other 60%. There's only two people. And there's some exciting exit strategy that I haven't shared with you, and which is we thought that every single time that we'd have to wait till we get the clear title at the end of 12 months or 24 months or 16 months, however long it takes, and then we sell, and that's where the big payday comes in. But what we found that there are companies who understand this game, and they know, so they have deeper pockets. It's like, have you heard of the companies who buy receivables for other companies? Because they're buying receivables because they're willing to wait, but the companies need the money to survive now. That's what tax lien certificates are. It's future payments. I'm buying it now at a discount. So receivables. So same thing. There are people that they're buying these clouded title properties at 50 to 60% of the value of the property. So that's $200,000 house that we could sell it with clouded title for $100,000 and get out. So great. And then we get the $100,000 and we split it 60-40, and you can take the money and reinvest. So you got all your money back instead of waiting 4 years, but it's your decision, meaning that there's no committee making this decision. It's the two of us. There's only two of us, and we decide that, do you want to keep the property? Do you want to sell it now? Do you want to sell it for 12 months? And at any time, if the two of us disagree, cannot come up with the answer, then the other party just get to buy out the other half of the other person and keep the whole thing to themselves. So simple as that. But and by the way, you can actually, these are pretty houses that you may want to move into yourself at this prices. And we're going to pick up these properties in other parts of the country as well. So these are the pretty house strategies that you can move in. So if you want to move in, you just have to buy us out from our share of the equity. And you can do it right at the beginning or at the end, your choice. And to do that, my request to you is, when you're looking at this investment strategy, always look at the worst case scenario, meaning that what if we cannot sell it at the end for these big prices? So that means, is the rental income that we are getting, is it good enough for you? So you're getting $1,000 a month on a $30,000 investment. Wow. And then you're getting over 30 to 40% return. If that's not good enough for you, don't invest. Because that's the only thing that I can tell you that within our control right now, that we have people that are collecting these rents every single month. So that's there right now. So I've shared with you, I believe, all the upside and now the downside, and we can get paid off. And by the way, one other thing is if the bank does want to fight with us on the suit to quiet title, we at that point negotiate with the bank because the bank doesn't want the house. That's when the short sale comes. We negotiate for current physical condition. We buy the property at a discount than what it's worth, and we'll still make money. And all along what we're holding, we're making money on the house. The question is, will you be our next success story? I'm looking for success stories, and I'm going to open up for Q&A and on that. So yours, great. So these are pretty houses, and this is, I believe, the ultimate real estate partnership. This is powered by the HOA JV cash flow formula. And so if you have, again, interest, please sign up for the free 30-minute consultation to discuss your real estate investment desires. Email to 777reo@gmail.com or text at 941-548-7755. What I'm going to do now is open up for questions here, and those of you are at home, you can also type your questions in the chat box and ask me questions and Rinat questions about this. By the way, and if your question nature is private, you should wait. Instead of asking me in a general forum, just ask Rinat directly your questions. And this is not the only time you'll get a chance to answer questions either. So you can, same questions. If it's general, ask me now. But if it's personal, then wait for your consultation time with Rinat. Eris.
Yes, can you please tell us what's going to happen after you run out of this first round?
Yes. There are 350,000 HOA associations, and this is what my conversation with our JV partner who's buying these HOA liens, he's just, last week, Rinat, who's buying 3 HOA receivable companies in Florida. So there are other receivable companies because he was CEO of the largest HOA receivable company. So he knows all the others. So he's buying not HOA receivables. He's buying HOA receivable companies so that he can supply. And those of you know me, I'm going on a tour of speaking and introducing my students to this opportunity. So I'm going to need the volume. So in anticipation of the volume, he is already creating the supply. The next wave of supply that are coming in will be a good chunk that are Nevada, just getting ready, and will be to us probably before the end of the year, quite frankly. And as they come to us, my students will always get those lists first before they go to the general public. So I don't think there will be any shortage of this, but those of you who want to get started now, this is your chance to get on the first 29 of the properties. Actually, you know what? I want to, Rinat and I, want to show you. This is, when we went to Orlando, can you see the picture? Okay. So this is a house that we saw. Now, this is the back of the house with the swimming pool because they have liability. Think about that, how much they spent on this is not like a horrible situation. This is because they want to secure the pool. And so we have to go, and this type of thing, it's going to take some time and labor to get the pool back into shape. So that's the cost of repairing and renovating. This is one property was vacant. We got to go inside the house. And so it's from another angle. And this is another house. This is another view of the same house. Look at how gorgeous these houses are. We just randomly drove around. This is another one-story house. It's the same one-story house, so you can see that these are all 2,000 to 3,000 square foot home. Look at this one, and this, like the ones with cars, we did not go in because we can obviously tell that people are living there. So we left it, and Jasper Roofing, so the roof was done. So they're investing in the house already. Oops. Okay, so okay, this is the house, and same house, same house. There's Renat trying to sneak in. Okay, this is a front door. I open the front door of the house, and this is the view of that two-story beautiful home. And this is the living room. So you can pretty much see that this is pretty much, you just need it like a paint and carpet situation. And this is the 3-car garage, not a 2-car garage, 3-car garage. And this is look at how high ceiling for the family room with the fireplace. This is the kitchen with an island kitchen that faces the family room. And this is the upstairs. They have like a family, family room upstairs with the Pirates theme that they had on the wall. And just to give you an example of one bathroom, this is one, the Jack and Jill one. It's another cupcake room, I call it. They're it's choice. And this was the master, and so this is looking down from the stairs of that house. And there's Renata and myself in front of that house. So partners in crime. So when I'm telling you that we actually took the time, it took us 5 hours to do this tour and looking at these houses randomly, just so before I come and represent to you that these are real, and I showed you. This is probably the worst house in that all of the ones that we have done with the pool. I almost don't like pools because it's just not one more headache for rental properties. But this one had pool. But when you go to sell it, now we have some good upside potential for selling it with a pool as a feature. Yeah, these were all owner-occupied. So this one, the owner has abandoned. The owner abandoned this one. So that's why I say there's 3 situations. The owner has totally abandoned the property. We just go take it right over. Or the owner is still there, not paying. Or the third, the owner has rented the place and collecting rent. So these 3 situations, and pretty much. So that's go ahead. Any other questions? Yes, Roy. Are you raising your hand or just reaching? Oh, you're scratching your head. Guys, Roy was scratching his head, not.
Tell about advantages that most of the people now buying from foreclosure in and out is we buy directly from homeowner association before foreclosure.
Yeah. Renat was just reminding me that the kind of the old strategy was people buying foreclosure properties. They go to the courthouse and they buy the foreclosure property at auction. Or what we're doing is we're buying before foreclosure. We're buying directly the receivable from the HOA, and we're doing the foreclosing. So if at the courthouse somebody bids full value of the property, we get paid. So if we get paid off, guess what we do? We just then supply you another property with another receivable equal value and move forward. So you don't lose your investment. And so it's an incredible opportunity that you can buy houses at these prices that are worth $200,000-$300,000. And there are properties that's going to come up in the other 18 states. As I said, we're just getting warmed up. So think about the huge opportunity just on 3 states. And so it doesn't matter where you live. And so remember the first law of real estate investing: price cures all. Number 2, live where you want to live, invest where it makes sense. So if you're $30,000 right now would go further here, then invest in here. And you have more questions, so let me go back to here. Did you say that 15K is refundable? Somebody asked the question. What I did for the people at the seminar, they paid a refundable deposit of $3,000, $1,000 to $3,000 to hold their space, and then we send them the joint venture agreement, and then if they don't like the JV agreement for any reason, they change their mind, their deposit is refundable. In your case right now, those who are on the call or listening to it now, if you want to invest, we'll show you the list of properties that are available, we'll show you the JV agreement, and if you say go, then send the $15,000. Otherwise, don't send it. So because once you send the 15, we have to proceed. So that's not refundable from that perspective. But you'll have plenty of opportunities to talk to Rinat or myself, for that matter, and get all your questions answered, and then refund and make the decision. Yes.
And hi, this is Rinat. Asking answer for this question that obviously all your money that you will bring from certain point will be returned to you, because this is our intention. And just you also have to understand that as soon as you choose the home, we took it from our other opportunities to create joint venture with other students, number one. So we lose opportunity to provide good profit for some other joint venture partners. Number two, we start the process, and we will it cost money. We will hire attorney, and as you understand, we're working with very, very reputable attorneys with high level expertise, particular in this specific area, because everything has to be done extremely step by step in a right order. And so we will start the process, collection of the money, and simultaneously preparing everything for foreclosure. So if for whatever reason you will decide that it's not for you, you will just need to wait until we will foreclose this property or collect money. And in this case, we will be able to return your money back. So we are flexible with that, and we feel comfortable that we'll be able to do that. So really, our goal here to take all risk from you on our part, and this is the beauty of doing joint venture with others, that you will take position or to get residual passive income where most of the risk will be covered by us.
Any other questions? Yeah, please. Okay, do you bear the cost of foreclosure and the clear title?
Yes. The amount that you will put as our partner in this joint venture will cover the whole process, starting from acquiring homeowner assessment delinquencies, prepare liens if it wasn't recorded, start collection process, and start foreclosure process. So all these administrative costs and legal costs will be covered, and as soon as we will make foreclosure happen, we will be in a position to start renovation process if it would be needed, and move forward with full speed. And only in that time you will invest another 50% of total 30,000. So really 30,000 will cover the whole process for acquire HOA liens, do collection, do foreclosure, and it will cover even the renovation process.
The minor renovation. And then all the details of that is on the joint venture agreement. And so those of you are again on the call, please set up your one-on-one time. And like the renovation, somebody asked, that is, do you cover the renovation cost? The renovation is, if there are exception, then no. So we'll give you all of those details in that on the JV agreement. Any other question?
Can we increase the window so we can see questions?
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
We already answered that question. Okay, so highlighting that. Okay. Why would the owners not want to rescue their property over a mere few hundred or $1,000 for HOA fees, especially if they have a lot of equity in the property? Thank you. Excellent question. and that is the question that I had from the moment this opportunity was brought to me. It's the same argument that are we buying properties on tax deed sale? Are we buying properties at other auctions? That this why I don't know. And the statistically speaking, that right now, Rinat, you can give some. There are so many HOAs coming down the pipe. Remember that in 2008, the turnover, one of the people that got hurt the most was the HOA, because people stopped long before they stopped paying mortgage. They stopped paying what? HOA is the first one that they go. And then so HOA kept threatening and threatening, and people know that they don't have much power, so they said, oh, hell with it. It's a mortgage I'm worried about, not the HOA. And so with this HOA, we are, now that they have the superior lien position, it's allowing them to foreclose. And we are aggressively going after that part of the equation. So excellent question.
And what I can add for this question, if somebody of you who are right now with us on this webinar live in deed restriction community where you have HOA, I'm sure that you know that in your subdivision you have vacant homes. If if homes still occupied, you can go just to Zillow and check what houses in pre-foreclosure or in foreclosure. And in 99%, these homes owners stop to pay their HOA dues. And there is simple logic. Yes, if you stop to pay your mortgage and you know that you either leave this house when it will be foreclosed, or you will continue to fight using whatever tools you will have, the last thing that you will do to pay HOA dues. And unfortunately, it's a reality. Yes, sometimes people can lose homes for 5, 7, 8,000 HOAs fees that they didn't pay in time. But I can tell you that this is why we say that it takes between 60 up to 120 days to foreclose these properties. And the main reason is that by law, by current legislation in all these 19 states, you as HOA or company or attorney who will do collection process have to go through certain steps and inform homeowner not once but 3 times that, hey, you owe money to HOA, and if you wouldn't pay this money in certain time, you will be in a position that your house will be foreclosed and you will lose ownership. And I can tell you right now, with more than 51 homes that we are working in Florida, we already initiated, where we already bought homeowners assessment delinquencies and already recorded liens, and already Tony started the process and send at least a letter to all homeowners. Nobody paid yet. Nobody. And this is the situation. So do they write things not paying HOA fees? I don't think no, but is it reality? And as business people, we just use this as opportunity to create profit for you, our partners.
All right. So that was an excellent question. By the way, Rinat and I have written an article, and we're going to send you a copy of that article. Why would want to rescue their property? Okay,
You answered this.
we answered that.
We'll answer that. Just go maybe.
Okay. All right. Why are banks not taking this where they stand second in line so they protect their interest?
Okay, this is an answer. You see, the whole situation that happened right now in Nevada was caused, you can imagine, when Supreme Court make this type of decision, it's based not just on the basis of one case. This type of decision, this type of authorities make when there are major problem, and because of that, decision has to be made. This is what happened. Before the crisis in 2007, 2008, this question really was so challenging for homeowner association. But as crisis happened and more homeowners stopped to pay their mortgages, they obviously stopped to pay their homeowner association fees even before they stopped their mortgages payments. And some of the homeowners left homes, so you can see in nice communities, gated communities, vacant homes, that homeowner associations still have to take care of that. And the most important, the bank, they don't pay this homeowner association for three major reasons. They either totally ignore them, thinking that homeowner association don't have the right to do foreclosure on them. They either overloaded with thousands cases, and they just don't have people resources, human resources to take care of each case, or they just think that it's really doesn't bother them, and they can do this and get home back even when homeowner association foreclose on them. And there are not just 100, there are 1,000, 10,000 cases in the whole country, and particularly in these 20 states, and Nevada Supreme Court that just decided to make really clear, addressing this question to the bank, that, hey, bankers, that's it. You have to make decision. You either foreclose homes and resell it, so new owners will start to pay homeowner association dues, and everybody will be in win-win situation, or we give you time to take actions before homeowner association foreclosure. And homeowner association attorneys that we are working with directly, they start, as soon as we buy receivables, they start to send right letters in right form, in right order to all banks who have whatever liens for these homes. And fortunately, unfortunately, not every bank takes action and pay these dues, and this is why in Nevada there are already thousands cases that happened during the last 3-5 years, even before the Supreme Court announced about that, when homeowner association were able to foreclose these homes on the basis of homeowner association assessment delinquencies, and bank lost their rights to get this home back. And there are hundreds and thousands cases like that. So we are not the first who is doing this. It's just incredible situation after Supreme Court in Nevada announced about this very clearly in September. And right now, other states like Florida, first of all, will follow the same way, and we are in great position. There is also a question, will we work with former homeowners to give them chance to stay in this house and be our tenants? Yes, absolutely. When we foreclose home And if it's owner occupied, the first thing that we will do, we'll ask them, hey, we understand this situation. You, for whatever reason, wasn't able to pay mortgages. You didn't pay homeowner association dues before, but if you want to stay as tenants, we give them first right of refusal, and if they show that they will do everything right, taking care of their property, paying in time, yes, they will stay. The question is, will the bank pay the homeowner association lien in the most cases? I can tell you, no. This is insane, but this is a reality. This is a real life. That this is why in Nevada, Supreme Court made this decision again and again, stressing that, hey, Mr. Banker, you have last chance to pay your dues to save this home if you want to get this back from current owner. Just pay homeowner association fees, and there are no any problem. And our attorneys send to the bank 3 letters during 90 days informing them about coming foreclosure, giving them chance to pay, and they still don't pay.
And by the way, one of the metaphors that I sometimes use that my credit repair gurus, and there is no secret on removing things from bankruptcy, things, whatever it is, from the credit report. I know I'll answer that. And because it's Fair Credit Reporting Act, and they dispute everything, and then they simply, if they don't respond within 30 days, it gets eliminated, and end of story. Now somebody, Beth asked that, sending what article copy? It's an article about this process, this entire thing that Devnath and I just wrote, answering basically the same things that you have information more at home.
And we will give you all links related to legislation where black on white you will see all details that allow homeowner association to do foreclosure on the base of non-payments from them homeowners or bank if they want to keep the property. Okay, I think that we cover pretty all questions, and again, we have a lot of requests right now for one-on-one session, and we will just need 15-20 minutes break, and after that I will start to call people back. I already text some of you the time when I will be able to call you back. So if you still have any questions, feel free to text me or email these questions. And the most important, again, I want to stress it, that you have right now incredible situation to be our partner for homes that we already bought homeowner association assessment delinquencies, and our attorneys already started the process of collections, and they're already sent at least first letters, and we don't have any responses and payments, so we are moving step by step toward our ultimate goal to do foreclosure. That will happen during the next 60 days. So those who will be able to pay today or during this next 2-3 days, 50% of the initial funds, 15,000, will be able to jump to these incredible opportunities with homes that we have in Florida. Thank you for your time, and Merry Christmas. Continue to enjoy your holiday season. Finish this year strong. I hope we'll give you you will give us a chance to help you with that, and we'll see you in the future.
All right, and I'm going to stop the recording now, so if you're at home, you can listen to it along with the Q&A. Thank you again. Good night, and God bless.